morning, sim racing fans, and welcome to Podium eSports coverage of the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series presented by AllStar Visuals, Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, and SpeedShop51.com. Tonight we bring you coverage of Round 9 live from the virtual Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. I am Joshua Lee alongside my colleagues Jacob Hitz and Justin Prince. Our producer Zach Johnson is behind the scene down in the virtual production trailer. Zach is using cameras provided by Tuggy Beard. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Jacob, it is set to be an exciting night as the past couple of rounds it has been Cameron Merriman up at the top of the leaderboard, but last week in February it was Emerson Axum, the first non-world championship driver to take home the win in this series, and he's looking to go back-to-back here at Lernerville.
But you're gonna have to go through Cameron Merriman, right? I mean, he won 4 straight before that. I have a feeling he's not done winning things yet this season. I personally, just on paper, how things look, I think the win tonight goes through Cameron Merriman. If he doesn't make a mistake, he's probably gonna wind up winning this thing.
Handful of heats on the docket for tonight, and then we'll head into the alphabet soup, starting with the E main and working all the way into the feature race tonight. But the first of 6 heats is starting to roll off onto the track. Rusty Kruger going to lead the field to the green flag with Jeremy St. Louis to his outside. Kenny Miller III, Eric Wilkie share row 2. Vinny Sansoon and Peyton Grise will share row 3. Vincent St. Louis, Cody Meadows will round out your top 8, and rounding out the 10 cars that will take the green flag here in Heat 1, Cody Meadows and Kendall Tucker as we get ready to go racing from the virtual Lernerville Speedway. 2 pace laps behind the iRacing.com pace truck, and then we will be underway for the first of 6 heats here tonight at the virtual Lernerville. Each of the heat races will be 10 laps. The top 2 finishers will advance on to the feature. Then we'll head into the E, D, C, and B mains, all of which will be 12 laps in length. Top 4 from the E main, the D main, and the C main will advance into the next consecutive main that we will have, and then the top 8 from the B main will advance to the feature, and that'll make up the entire 20-car feature grid. As the pace truck pulls into the pit lane, we are underway for the first heat of the night here at the virtual Lernerville in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. Rusty Kruger leads him into turn 1, already making a move up the inside. Look to be Kenny Miller III as the Rusty Kruger going to lead him out in front as we get set through turns 3 and 4. Already cars sliding all over the place, trying to gain spots as they head into turn 1 once again.
Now you're going to notice, we didn't talk about this before they started racing, you're going to notice there's no wall around the outside of the racetrack for about 75% of the track. It's pretty unique. It's almost kind of like Berlin out of Michigan. You only really have a wall on the front straightaway on the outside. Otherwise, if you make a mistake, you're going out of the park.
Already trying to make a move is Jeremy St. Louis in the 1. He made a dive bomb through turns 3 and 4 last time by. Kenny Miller III able to hold on to second. Here comes the 1 back to the inside. 3 wide for a moment as the 80 of Vinny Sansoon tries to make it work on the very inside line. Unable to do so. They work out of turn 4 once again. Heading on to lap number 5. Rusty Kruger pulling away now. Still 3 wide for the second spot as it's a battle between Miller, St. Louis, and Sansoon as they head back into 3. And way up on the outside line goes Jeremy St. Louis. He's going to fall back now. And that was actually another car. Getting into each other on the front straightaway. Eric Wilkie, Vincent St. Louis.
Wow. That's all I really got to say. I mean, these guys, the 410s are extremely fast no matter where they go. So we're bound to have chaos as the... I saw somebody get really sideways. Yeah, we got one flipping on the front stretch. It's Eric Wilkie. He's parked the car. So, yeah, he's down on pit road. He's pretty much out of this one. He caught the wall and then got sideways again off of turn 4 that last time by. But you saw it happen with Kenny Miller there. You get too high, you get over the embankment, you lose control of the car, and you're going for a ride.
And you can already start to see that outside line start to groove in here in heat number 1. And there's still a lot of racing left to go before these drivers will receive a reset of the track state. 2 to go here in heat number 1. The final lap now out on the racetrack. White flag. Rusty Kruger still leads. Here's the battle for the transfer spot. Second place, Vinny Sansuni holds it right now. Jeremy St. Louis trying to make a final push in the 1. He's going to slide up into the wall, not be able to take it. That's Rusty Kruger taking the win here in heat number 1. Vinny Sansoon going to grab home P number 2, and the first 2 drivers are making their way into the feature race. Now time to take to the starting grid for the second heat of the night. It's Zachary Brulard gonna hop onto the pole in the number 53. Kobe Stidham to his outside on row 1. Jacob Denny, Felix Roy share row 2 with Carlin Cure. Colton Anderson shares row 3. Moving on to the rest of the field, Michael Benoit in row 4, Jeremy Lambert to his outside, Jake Erickson and Dustin Hall round out the 10 cars here in heat number 2. Remember, only the top 2 are going to move on from this heat race and make their way into tonight's feature. And Jacob, we already are seeing that exciting racing here that Lernerville can provide from heat number 1, and we're heading into the second one now. Are you expecting much of the same, or do you think they're going to start to calm themselves down as we work our way through the heats?
Well, here's where I'm at. If they're really aggressive for each heat, they're really going to give this track a beating, and by the time we get to heat number 6, they're going to be driving on ice. If they take it easy, then the guys in the later heats are going to have a decently worn racetrack, but it's not going to be ground down all the way to run on. So I think some of these guys in the early heats may just say heck with it and keep the foot to the floor the whole time. But they're going to notice that the track's going to be worn a lot quicker than they would if they were just really riding around. Because when these guys are aggressive, you saw them fanning out 3 wide all over this racetrack. There's not going to be much of a groove left.
Everybody also trying to find out exactly what they have under the hood of their Fort 10 sprint cars and whether or not they have the car that can contend for the win in not only the heats, but each of our mains and the feature race coming up at the end of the night. We're green here at heat number 2. A great start for Zachary Brouillard. He's going to lead him into turn 1. Kobe Stidham right on the back wing. He's going to go down to the inside, but making a move on the outside. A huge run from Jacob Denny in the 61, trying to rival for the transfer spot. Side by side now is Denny and Stidham as they work on it. Turn number 1 once again for lap 2. Taking that transfer spot is Jacob Denny as the field continues to fan out onto the back straightaway.
Denny's going all the way for the lead. He got out of the gate strong. He's going to slide up the racetrack. Brouillard's going to have to lift. He's got the spot. Jacob Denny takes the lead. He's got a really good race car right now.
That move may have sticked, but will it stick for long? Here comes Brouillard back to the inside, but to the outside goes Stidham. He's going to grab P2 for the moment, but still on the inside, it's the 53. The outside line seems to be the place to be right now as Brouillard going to fall into third. Outside of the transfer spot, he has Colin Cure now right behind him to his inside in the 7, trying to take over third place. While the top 2 pull away, it's Denny, Stidham, Brouillard, Cure, and Benoit, your top 5.
Kind of looks like Darlington. Everybody just running the outside of the racetrack. If you go down low, you're going to try and make a slide job, but when they're conga lined up on the high side, you're not going to be able to get very far. Stidham got a little wide there at the entrance of 1. Brouillard tried to get back to him, but we're already more than halfway through this heat, and it looks like Jacob Denny is probably the king of the class right now.
And there goes Kobe Stidham down to the inside. Tried to make a move, not able to make it happen on the inside. The outside line definitely seems to be the place to be as everybody starts to run up there. But it's going to start to get grippy down on that inside as the outside line starts to wear over. The 53 trying to use the inside to his advantage. He gets a good run coming off turn 2. Brouillard making a move for the transfer spot down on the inside for second place. They're side by side across the start finish. Oh! Go, contact made. 3 wide for the lead. Denny falls to third. Now the top 2 is Stidham and Brouillard. They're 3 wide for the lead as they make their way back through turn 3. Jacob Denny steals the lead on the inside, but here comes Kobe Stidham back on the outside. 1 to go here in E2.
I can't believe that move by Brouillard that made it work. He's going to go back to the bottom, 3 wide, coming to the line. He's going to throw it in there as Denny spins out almost. Stidham's going to win the heat. They crash past the flag, and it's Stidham and Brouillard that are going to make the show from heat number 2. Wow.
Jacob Denny had contact with a sprint car behind him that dove into that corner, preventing him from getting the transfer spot. He's going to have to race his way out of Alphabet Soup coming up in just a little bit, but we reach the halfway point here in the heats with heat number 3 out of 6 tonight. Logan Rumsey will start on the pole. Joey Laducier going to follow to his outside. William Racine, Ross Carenza round out your row 2. Randy Shrevs, Jimmy Barr in row 3. Dylan Aylor and Brett Rowles are going to be in row 4 with Ryan Lynn, Landon Cardoza rounding out your 10 cars here in heat number 3. And fans might recognize that name up at the front, Logan Rumsey in the 41. He does compete in the NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car iRacing Championship Series, so he is known in these 410s, Jacobits, and he knows how to race these things.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's already at the front, so he doesn't have to climb his way through the field or anything. He's just got to be careful about the guys behind him. You know, it looks like we're only going to have 9 to start this heat, as Landon Cardoza did not grid up on the racetrack, so we're only going to have 9 for this, but that doesn't change how many people make the show. Got to be in the top 2, and if it's anything like that last heat where we got 3-4 guys fighting for those top 2 spots, I think things could get ugly and we could see more contact like we saw at the end of that second heat.
Logan Rumsey, even though he is a world champion or competes in the World Championship Series for the iRacing NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, he has not won. He's so far in the history in the all-time win list of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, so he's still looking for number 1, joining his fellow World Championship competitors Alex Bergeron and Aiden Cardwell. As we start off heat number 3, is Logan Rumsey out in front already. Nobody able to rival for the lead just yet as they go side by side for second place further back, but it's Rumsey ahead of Laducer, Russin, Corinza, Shrebs. Your top 5 is the 3 wide for third.
And we got one spun in turn 1. That's Dylan Ayler that got turned sideways. He gets it back rolling. Got battle for third still going on between Shreves and Racine. Looks like he might hang on to that spot for now. 35 on the outside. He's got the better run, and it's going to be tough, but I think he might be able to hold in on the high side here.
Top 2, Rumsey, Laducier, as they work their way back through turn 1. Here on lap number 4, a huge pile up on the inside line as 3 cars fight for the same real estate. That's Shrevs, Racine, and Corenta trying to fight each other and trying to catch up to the transfer spot. Side by side currently for 4th as they dive back into turn number 1, working the inside. That's the 35 of William Racine on the outside line. Ross Corenta inside, and Randy Shrevs leads them as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. But it's all Rumsey out in front. Nobody able to rival the World Championship driver as he leads the way here in heat 3.
Well, and here's the problem with these guys third on back battling so hard. That's going to allow this top 2 to just put it on cruise control and drive away. Like Rumsey right now has nothing to worry about, and Laducer really has nothing to worry about either, unless he makes multiple mistakes in a row. I don't see these guys getting to him.
Rumsey still out in front as Joey Laducier follows, but you can see he got a little bit loose on the front straightaway. All the way down on the inside, that's Ross Corenta in the 10. He got really loose as he hit the grass all the way on the inside line. Now gonna have a mirror full of Randy Shreds as we go to 2 to go. Rumsey leads, still out in front of this heat, trying to walk away with the heat 3 win here tonight. But we're taking a look at the further back battles. Everything has fizzled out now. Single cars, mainly throughout the entire field. That's not going to help anybody looking for a transfer spot as Rumsey and Laducier are going to make their way through turns 3 and 4 on the white flag, and it will be Logan Rumsey grabbing the win here in heat number 3 behind the wheel of the number 41, the 921 of Joey Laducier. The Canadian going to join the U.S. World Championship driver into the feature race later tonight. Everybody else going to work their way through the alphabet mains and in the hopes of making their way to the feature. So that's half of our heats down. We still have 3 more to go before we head into the E main. And we'll grab a look at that starting grid here for heat number 4. David Hellman gonna start at the pole with Ryan Timms to his outside, Jonathan White, Tyler Chalk in row 2, Kevin Hanley, Austin Griffey in row 3, Alex Rupert, Rylan Gray in row 4, Jackson Gray, and Aiden Bierlin will round out your top 10 for heat number 4. And Jacob, a lot of familiar names in a lot of these heats, and we have seen some great racing, but like you mentioned, that track state, we're starting to see that top groove work its way in, and I don't believe these guys are going to have any track resets tonight, so it's going to continue to slick off. Like you mentioned, it's going to start to feel like ice, but these are some of the best 410 sprint car drivers in the world. They know how to handle it, and those that are able to handle it are going to be out in front when it comes to the checkered flag at the end of the feature.
Well, I'm trying to find the answer on whether there is a track reset. It looks like there's a reset after the heats. So once the heats are done, they're going to reset the track. Then they'll run through the alphabet soup. Then they'll reset again after the B main for the feature. So we will see 2 resets, but you know, for the alphabet soup and for the heats, they're going to be wearing the crap out of the racetrack. And I think in that last heat, we really saw that the fact that this racetrack has had so much racing on it already, these drivers are in a box. They can't do much because there's only one suitable line for these guys. And when they're all strung up along that outside, you just kind of have to throw it into a corner and hope it sticks.
There we go, getting ready for the 4th heat of the night. David Hellman going to lead them to the green flag as we are underway for the 4th heat of the night. The 41 dives it into the corner. He'll keep the lead, but Ryan Timms in the 5 works the outside line, trying to look for the lead. Gets a little bit loose as they make their way down the back straightaway into turn 3. Still the top 2 starting to pull away. It's Alex Rupert leading the field from 3rd on back as Tyler Chalk going to dive it up the inside of the 06 to Rylan Gray. It will stick on the inside. He's going to get a huge slingshot up into 3rd.
Tell you what, Robert went from 3rd to about 5th, and he's almost going to get pushed off the racetrack, too. He slung it in on the bottom. He had a great run. He just had nowhere to go with it. Chalk's going to do the same thing. He's going to be able to keep the power down. Rylan Gray's going to hook back to the inside. Going to try and run the bottom line. There isn't a ton there. There's still going to be side-by-side off turn 4. Gray's going to have to try it again in 1.
Everybody starting to stack up from 3rd on back, but the top 2 singing Kumbaya up at the front. They're starting to pull away. Side by side for 3rd now. It's Tyler Chalk on the inside. Rylan Gray outside. Chalk going to take over P3. Not going to be able to stick it on the entry to turn 1, but guess who's loose up in front? Ryan Timms in the 5. Rylan Gray, Tyler Chalk set their eyes on the car in front. They're looking for the transfer spot. So is Berlin and Rupert right behind.
Good grief, who's out on the outside? That's Berlin. Just came flying up there on the outside in that 30 car. I mean, he gained, I think, 2-3 spots that last lap, just rim riding around the top of the track. He's still closing in on Gray. He's still closing in on Chalk. I don't think he's done gaining spots yet.
Timms running the outside line now. This is the battle for the transfer spot. Ryan Timms outside. On the inside is Rylan Gray trying to take that spot away. Diving into turn number 1. Gray had it for a moment when they came across the start-finish line. The run going into the corner on the inside line, not strong enough, but a huge run coming out of turn 2 is going to lead Rylan Gray on the inside, but it's Ryan Timms on the outside, still keeping that spot. He gets loose on the front straightaway. Gray going to overtake him, not for long, but loose on the outside once more is Timms. Gray takes the transfer spot as Timms tries to dive it around the inside. White flag in heat 4.
4 cars under a blanket, all looking for this transfer spot so they don't have to go through the soup. But here comes Berlin up on the high side. He's going to have one last chance through 3 and 4. Gray's going to keep it down on the bottom. Nobody's going to get to him. David Heilman's going to win the heat, and Rylan Gray is going to hang on and transfer in that 2nd spot.
Aiden Berlin had a huge run coming off of turn 4, and if he had one more lap, we can only wonder what would have happened. But it's time for Heat 5 as 2 more cars make their way from that very exciting Heat 4. And I think it's going to continue in this race because taking a look at the starting grid, 3 World Championship drivers in the iRacing NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Alex Bergeron, one of the most well-known iRacing sprint car drivers there is, will lead the field to green here in Heat 5. Rico Robles to his outside. Then it's an entire World Championship row 2 with Adam Elby and Austin Semmelman. Eddie Hartley and Reggie Regimble will share row 3. And then it is Dakota Kun in 7th place, Jax Yan in 8th, rounding out your row 4. And then it's Justin Zapatizny and Caden Folkarts rounding out your top 10. And all 10 drivers that will start here in heat number 4. Or sorry, heat number 5, and coming off of the excitement of heat number 4, that was one of the best heats that we have seen tonight. And now that we have a huge amount of World Championship drivers, this one is set to be even more exciting, Jacobitz.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this is going to work out. Let's take a look at our race analysis here if we can. We talked about it. This is heat number 5. The top 2 heat finishers transfer to the feature. All the heats are 10 laps. Then we do the alphabet soup. E-main, that's 12 laps. The top 4 from that move on to the next one, the D-main. 12 more laps. Top 4 make it to C-main. C-main, top 4 make it to B-main. Then the top 8 out of B-main make it to the feature. We'll get a track reset at that point. And then we get to run the whole thing 35 green flag laps with 20 cars. It's going to be a darn good show.
Alex Bergeron will lead the field to green here in Heat 5. Alex Bergeron has 7 wins in this series all time, and he's looking for another one tonight in the feature. He leads the field down into turn number 1, but everybody fighting for real estate behind him as it's Rico Robles falling back on the outside line in the 3. Everybody running the inside as they work their way out of turn 4 for the first time. It's Adam Elby and Austin Semmelman fighting for second place all the way on the inside, touching the grass is Adam Elby in the 74.
Yeah, these guys are digging because on these restarts, it's kind of like NASCAR. When they're close together on these restarts, that is their best opportunity to make passes. That is their best opportunity to get in. You know, when they get strung out with how the track is at this point, the track state, it's going to be very difficult for these guys to come from the back to get to the front. Even when you're in 5th, it's going to be very difficult unless your car is set up for this kind of track, for it to be worn out. You're going to struggle to get into the top 2.
Rico Robles trying to work his way up through the field. You can see him sliding through that corner, but Austin Semmelman pulls the crossover. Semmelman now going to move to 3rd. 3 World Championship drivers in your top 3 here in heat number 5. It's Alex Bergeron leading the way. Adam Elby in 2nd place. Austin Semmelman now in 3rd, trying to chase down Adam Elby in the 74 for the transfer spot here in heat 5. But working the outside line, Alex Bergeron, the Canadian in the number 12, working that outside line, trying to get the win. The Drummondville, Quebec driver leading the way. Of course, a 2-time iRacing World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars World Champion and P6 in the 2020 iRacing World of Outlaws Borton Buildings Late Model World Championship Series. Alex Bergeron knows what he's doing when it comes to these sprint cars, and he's showing it as he sits out in front. But the battle for the transfer spot continues as Rico Robles now joins the fight, and the 3 cars in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Elby, Semmelman, and Robles. You can put a blanket under him right now, Jacobitz. They're all running the outside, all looking for a transfer spot with 2 to go.
Yeah, Semmelman might have the best shot, but Robles has really got that fishing pole out and has reeled these guys in because he was a little far back earlier. Here goes Semmelman. He's going to pull the slide off turn 4. Little grip as the white flag's out. Elby gets the spot back, and that's going to open the door for Robles, but I think Semmelman, that may have been his last shot.
LB now in 2nd place. Alex Bergeron going to cruise to a heat win as he makes his way off turn 4. But the battle for the transfer spot will end with Adam Elby in the 74. He grabs the transfer spot. Austin Semmelman and Rico Robles will have to head into the alphabet soup. The Tracy, California driver will make his way into the feature. Adam Elby in the 74 will join the 2-time World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink iRacing Sprint Car Champion in the feature race. Time for the final heat of the night before we start our way through alphabet soup. Cameron Merriman, the 3-time winner this season, 4-time winner this season, who had his streak broken 2 weeks ago at Fairbury by Emerson Axum, will start in 1st. And you can see Emerson Axum on that starting grid down there in row 3. It's Jeffrey Stewart to the outside of Merriman on row 1, however. Braden Matson, Chris Sabeske, then Emerson Axum, your reigning feature race champion from Fairbury. Richie Preston will start to his outside in row 3. Then John Fall, David Flick, Rob Winks, and Nathaniel Lanley finishing out your lineup here for heat number 6, the final heat of the night. And Jacob, another stacked lineup in this heat, especially Cameron Merriman. Now, like I mentioned, he had his streak of wins broken by Emerson Axum 2 weeks ago at Fairbury. You gotta think that a world championship driver like Cameron Merriman now is even hungrier than ever for a race win.
Yeah, you take a guy off of his streak, 4-race win streak, you kick him off that streak last week, he finished 5th. He's going to be furious coming to the next racetrack. So I think everybody else in this field should be and probably is scared of Cameron Merriman tonight, because I think he's going to come swinging for the fences and probably won't leave here unless he's got a trophy in his hands.
Cameron Merriman has 5 all-time wins of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. 4 of them came in this season. If anybody's on top, it is Cameron Merriman in that 48. But he has to beat 9 other talented sprint car drivers to make his way into the feature race tonight. Merriman's on the gas. We're underway. Final heat of the night as Merriman will lead him into turn number 1 on the outside line. And following him is Jeff Stewart in the 72. Oh! For third place, 1 car way off into the distance. I believe that's David Flick. No, it's not. It's Nathaniel Langley all the way up there.
Oh, and we got another one on his side. It's Emerson Axum. Got pushed over out of the track in turn 1. It was Madsen that got pushed wide on the initial start off turn 4. Then it's Axum that gets pushed wide in turn 1 and 2. The next time we got another one off. This one's Rob Links. He's off and he's sideways in turn 4. These guys are trying everything they can just to get out of here. They are all over this racetrack. It's Merriman, Stewart. Then it is Preston and Sabaski. That's your top 4 right now.
And Merriman pulling away now. The gap about 1.2 seconds as they work the back straightaway. Battle for the transfer spot is starting to heat up. Richie Preston gonna take it over from Jeff Stewart in the 72. Here comes Stewart back to the inside. The 72 grabs the transfer spot once more. Richie Preston.
Crow!
And around goes Jeff Stewart in the 72. He is off the racetrack, losing out on the transfer.
So that just opened the door for Richie Preston, but now here's Sabisky. He's going to go back to the inside. He wants this transfer spot. We're halfway home now. He is digging as hard as he can because he knows one mistake is all it takes. We just saw it happen there with Stewart, and we've seen it happen with 2 or 3 other guys so far. It's not uncommon to make a mistake. That's why that outside line is so dangerous, because you go just a little too high, your right rear wheel hangs over the racetrack, and you're out of here.
Sabesky runs the outside. Richie Preston runs the inside. Still leading the way is Cameron Merriman, running away with this heat win. 3 to go here in the final heat of the night. Heat number 6. The battle for the transfer spot is between the 60 of Richie Preston and the 21 of Chris Sabesky. And off the track goes Sabesky in turn 3.
What did I say? You get a little bit too high, and that's all it takes. That's pretty much going to gift the transfer, that second spot to Preston, coming around for the white flag. It's Preston, it's Merriman. Merriman's out in front. He's got a 2.5-second lead over everybody else right now. If this isn't scary to everybody else, it should be, as we've got flicked off in turn 4, checker flag. Cameron Merriman wins heat number 6. Him and Richie Preston move on to the big show.
Mistakes from a lot of drivers took out some great names, including your reigning feature race winner in Emerson Axum. He'll have to work his way through the alphabet soup if he wants to go back to back. The E-Main getting ready to get started, and we're going to take a look at where we are in the world, powered by Google Earth, before we get started here in the E-Main. The Lernerville Speedway, known for having the Fab 410 sprints, late models, big block modifieds, and pro stocks. And you can see a very unique dirt oval at that. Pretty long straightaways, tight corners, and obviously no walls except for the front straightaway. Makes this track incredibly characteristic. Has a clay surface, opened in 1967, only about 0.4 miles in length, 14 degrees on the turn, 16 in the straightaways. And tonight, The sim time is relatively late at night, making this even more characteristic as it's a little bit cooler than what we normally would see in an afternoon race, and like we saw 2 weeks ago in Fairbury. Time to begin the alphabet soup with the starting grid for the E main. Jackson Gray, Justin Zabochny gonna start the row on 1. David Flick, Cody Meadows in row 2. Jake Erickson, Ross Carenza in row 3. Making our way down the rest of the order, Austin Griffey, Reggie Regemble gonna share row 4. Emerson Axum having to race his way out of the E main. He could be eliminated right now if he doesn't make it into the top 4. Eric Wilkie, Jeremy Lambert, Landon Cardoza gonna round out your top 12. We have 15 cars starting the race here in the E main. Jonathan White, Jax Young, and Nathaniel Lanley round out the top 15. That will take the grid here in the E main. Now, only the top 4 are going to advance to the D main. Then from there, those top 4, if they want to make it to the feature, will have to advance again from the C main. And there's the weather conditions. Jacob hits. Track temp 67 degrees and a little bit windy here in Pennsylvania, but clear skies. And these guys are ready to start off the alphabet soup, and there's a lot of hopeful drivers trying to make their way into the feature.
Yeah, the wind is whipping. I mean, 7-8 miles an hour out of the south. I mean, typically we don't see that in iRacing, but hey, if it's going to produce this kind of racing, I'm all for it. Here we go, green flag.
And here we go. Jackson Gray leads the field to the green flag as they head through turns 1 and 2. Jackson Gray leads the way. It's the Zabochny back there, but a battle for the transfer spot sends the 46 of Cody Meadows up the road, and around goes the 57. Emerson Axum is around on the track.
Yeah, and we had another one upside down. They're still crashing over there. Langley and Axum are still stopped at the bottom of the racetrack. Here come the leaders through turn 4. Looks like they're all going to avoid a scary situation for the leaders as Axum is right in their way through turn 1. Jackson Gray put a pinch on David Flick. He had to check up a little bit. He did a great job hanging onto this race car. But man, now we got lap traffic. This is going to be awful for these leaders.
So Emerson Axum has gone from winning the feature race 1 week to now being eliminated in the E-main this week. That just goes to show the characteristics of dirt sprint car racing. You can be a hero 1 week and a zero the next week as he just tries to hold on to his lead lap, but as he gets loose, contact further back, multiple cars into each other. Jackson Gray's off the track. One car goes flipping all the way off. I believe that was Cody Meadows. Yes, it was.
Yep.
A huge amount of cars going spinning in turn 2, but we continue up front. Justin Zabochny leads the way. Rounding out your transfer spots is Austin Griffey, David Flick, and Jax Young as we're only halfway through the E-main.
And Jackson Gray with that wreck, I'm pretty sure he just ripped the computer cord right out from the wall. He's done. He left. So he's not very happy, and rightfully so. You know, getting involved in a wreck is somebody, that's Axum going off to mow some grass out off of the back straightaway. But right now we got a nice little battle for P5. That's Wilkie and Courtney there, 6th and 7th. Or rather 5th and 6th, Wilkie and Lambert. I can't read my own scoring monitor.
And Wilkie trying to work that outside line, and you can see he got a great run coming off of turn 4. One car in the wall in front of him, that is Jax Young. The battle for the transfer spot now is between Young and Wilkie. Young in the 24, Wilkie in the 13. They dive it into turn 3. Now the 13 works the inside, not able to get to it. He gets loose coming off the corner. Jax Young gonna work his way, still in P4. He works his way back up to the top line, trying to run up there. Not really working that well as he moves his way into the middle line. Slides his way up. Wilkie back to the outside, trying to battle for the transfer spot. Here comes the 13 back to the inside. Maybe a slight bit of contact, but Wilkie's going to keep P4. Slide up to try and cover the spot, and he does.
That was a ballsy move by Wilkie. My jaw hit the floor, and here comes Jan. What a big move, but it's just going to be too much. He's going to have one more shot. This is the last lap. He's going to send it in down turn 1. That's going to push Wilkie up the racetrack as he was watching his mirror trying to avoid him. We'll see what happens here. Zabochny's going to win this heat. Then Griffey, Flick. It looks like Wilk is going to hang on to this last transfer spot, and he's going to move on to the D-main.
Eric Wilkie with a great move with 2 laps to go to grab the transfer spot in the top 4, but his work is not done. He only transfers to the D main. He'll have to work his way through the D, C, B, and then he can qualify for the feature. So he has a long way to go tonight as we get ready to go into the D main. Those 4 drivers from the E main will meet up with more names that were eliminated out of the heats. Dakota Kun will lead the field to the green flag on row 1. John Fall to his outside. Peyton Grimes, Colton Anderson, Dylan Aylor, Alex Rupert, your top 6. Caden Folkarts, Jeff Stewart on row 4. Bryant Weidman and Dustin Hall round out your top 10. Ryan Lynn, Justin Zaboxny, Austin Griffey, David Flick, and Eric Wilkie, your 4 moving on from the first of the alphabet soup, the E main, starting on the tail end of the field. So, Jacob, they have a lot of work to do when they get going here in this heat as the field begins to roll off behind the iRacing.com pace truck for the 2 pace laps. And we continue on with these mains. Jacob, that first E main was really good, and we're expecting more, and there's 4 hungry drivers trying to make the feature starting at the tail end.
Yeah, this is going to be something. You know, in order to keep moving up the ladder, you start at the back each time. So you win the E main, you have to start all the way from the bottom of the ladder. Then you move up again. Okay, you make it through the D main. Now you move on to the C main again. You're right back down at the bottom again. So it's just, I get knocked down, I get up again, and then you get knocked back down again. This is kind of how this works, but it provides for a lot of fun because you've got really fast cars at the front and really fast cars in the back. Gonna be a lot of fun.
Well, here we go as 15 cars line up behind the iRacing.com pace truck. It pulls into the safety of pit lane. Leading the field, it's John Fall at the front and Peyton Grimes to his outside as we go racing here for the D main. Now joined by our colleague Justin Prince. And Justin, they're all diving into the corner. 3 wide for 3rd place as the 0 gonna contact in turn 3.
Then here we go over the top, the edge of the racetrack as John Fall gets shuffled about all the way to the very back of the field with Dustin Hall. Those 2 are not going to be happy, but up at the front, it is side by side for the race lead. The 95 trying to make a bit of contact now as up on the top shelf goes Peyton Grease.
Grease gonna get a huge run coming around the front straightaway, but he hits the wall coming into turn 1. Now around the outside, Grimes gonna stay up there. Dakota Kun in the 95 gets loose coming down the back straightaway. Joining in the top 3 now is Dylan Aylor as the transfer spot currently held by Alex Rupert in 4th.
And you got a long way to go till you get to everybody else, but here comes Zabotsny. He's coming. He's now in P5 battling Stewart. So there's a chance that he could get up here and have a shot at moving on. He has clawed his way up big time, and he is showing that he could potentially go all the way from the E main up to the feature.
The Canadian driver trying to work his way up through the field, but he's currently battling with the 58 of Bryant Weidman as Weidman works the outside. 1 car all the way off the track. That's Eric Wilkie in the 13. He gets back on, and we are still good to go. But Peyton Grimes leads the way. The battle for second has now heated up to 3 cars as Rupert joins the fight all the way on the outside. It's Aylor inside. Dakota Kun now falls to the transfer spot in 4th.
Rupert tries to run that cushion right up against the top of the racetrack, gets a good amount of momentum, and now pulls away, making a battle for 3rd position as a result. Kun tries to battle behind as Dylan Aylor now shuffles his way up to 3rd, back and forth between these drivers. 5 laps to go, and most of these drivers trying to utilize that middle to bottom line that came to play here with the iRacing World of Outlaws Monster Drink Sprint Cars World Championship a few months ago.
Working that outside line is the 72 of Jeff Stewart trying to catch up to battle for the transfer spot. Running out of time as we reach lap number 9 of 12. 4 to go here in the D main as the 95 still works the inside. It's the outside line chosen for Dylan Aylor. Same thing with Jeff Stewart and a huge run coming off turn 4. Gonna put the 72 of Jeff Stewart now up into the transfer spot. Dakota Kun falls to 5th. Now gonna have to battle the 72 as they work their way back through turns 3 and 4. New face in the top 4, and Stewart's trying to run away with the transfer.
And Kuhn, I mean, that car just looks evil on him right now. He is sawing at the wheel constantly down the straightaway. That's not going to help him. I think I think his goat is cooked right now. I don't think he's got a shot. Last lap, heat. No, we're done with the heats. How about last lap D-main? Peyton Grimes, I mean, he's gone. Rupert's going to try and make a move here in the last corner. He's going to send it down to the inside, pulls the crossover. Here comes Grimes back to the inside. Grimes is going to win the D-main. Then it's Rupert, Ayler, and Stewart, your top four that move on to the C-main.
Most notably, nobody who advanced from the E-main makes their way out of the D-main. It's an entirely new four that are going to make their way to the next main, which is the C-main. Another 12-lap main getting ready to come up, as we'll take a look at the starting grid for that one as well. It's Braden Matson going to lead the field to the green flag in the 62 on the inside of row 1. Then Kendall Tucker, another World Championship driver from the NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars World Championship here on iRacing, starts to the outside of row 1. Carlin Cure, Brett Rowell's gonna round out row 2. Tyler Chalk, Eddie Hartley in row 3. Rob Winks, Vincent St. Louis in row 4. Felix Roy, Jimmy Barr round out your top 10. Then it's Kevin Hanley who will round out the drivers that were eliminated from the heats and worked their way into the C main. Now the drivers that all advanced from the previous main, which was the D-main. Peyton Grimes, Alex Rupert, Dylan Aylor, and Jeffrey Stewart as we get ready to go racing for another one. Now, Justin Prince, you're joining us a little bit late, but you're here every week for this series. You watch these guys week in and week out, and right now there is a handful of drivers getting ready to go racing here in the mains. What have you been watching so far tonight, and what did you watch in that last main as a new group of drivers start to get going? How's the track state? How are these drivers racing here at Lernerville compared to the World Championship Series?
Well, the best drivers are the ones who are able to keep themselves clean when it comes to the alphabet. That's been one of the common occurrences. But at this racetrack, it is very much so important to be able to properly pass drivers without making bits of contact, because you make even one little bit of contact, you're going over the cushion and going out of the racetrack with how there's no outside walls here up in the corners. So in terms of the track itself, I noticed a few drivers are utilizing the middle to bottom line as noted during that D-main. A few drivers, though, and the best drivers are the ones who feel most confident running up against that cushion right at the very edge of the racetrack and trying to spread across those limits and test the limits. And we've seen some of these drivers do that so far.
We have seen the runs they have gotten off of that top line as well, out of turns 2 and 4, and it is a viable line that I think we're going to see a lot of drivers use. Already contact as we go green for the C main between Kendall Tucker and Brett Rouse, but it's Kendall Tucker on the inside going to try and power through as they work their way through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Carlin Cure leads the way, Matson leads the way. Then it's Cure, Tucker, and Hartley holding on to that transfer spot. Felix Roy, the first one outside of it as they all work their way to the back straightaway.
Down to the bottom side still is Kendall Tucker. That's a line, as talked about, that worked for a few drivers in the World Championships before. He's trying to slow roll right next to the grass, losing a bit of ground though. Down the back straightaway, side by side for second. Picks up a bit of momentum, picks up some moisture on the right side of his tires as he slow rolls it once more in 3 and 4. You're side by side for the race. Lead now as Kendall Tucker nearly clears by second.
You can see why Kendall Tucker's nickname is Kid Smooth, the Mount Airy, North Carolina sprint car driver, known in the World Championship Series here on iRacing, running that inside line, looking great down there as he'll lead this lap and now take over the lead here in the C main as Matson still works the outside line. Kendall Tucker seems to be, Jacob, it's the only driver so far tonight that has been able to roll the bottom line and not only do it consistently, but beat the runs coming from the outside line at the end of the corners.
Especially, I mean, you know, we've already gone through 2 12-lap mains on this racetrack without a reset, and he's still making the bottom work. That's pretty impressive. You know, if this was the first main or off of a fresh track, I could understand the bottom working. He's making it work after more than 24 laps on this racetrack. That is pretty impressive, and now he's able to run back up on the high side, and he's still pulling away.
Kendall Tucker pulling away from the field. 5 to go here in the C main. Top 4, it's Tucker, Madsen, Cure, and Roy trying to catch up to these top 4s. Eddie Hartley in the 19, but he's still a good bit behind. Anybody in front of him is roughly about 0.6 seconds up to 4th place Felix Roy, but Kendall Tucker pulls away now with 4 to go as the battle for the transfer spot starts to heat up a little bit. Here comes Eddie Hartley with a great run on the outside.
A great burst of speed down the back straightaway, all the way to the back end now of Roy. Near side by side, coming up with 3 laps to go. Hartley trying to go as high as he can. Over top the edge of the racetrack goes Roy. He's out of the circuit as up into 4th goes Hartley. Rupert and Hanley will pass by and several others.
An unfortunate end to a great run in the C main for Felix Roy as he tows it back to the pit lane. Jacob Itz, that goes to show the characteristics of Lernerville are biting his drivers, especially Felix Roy. He got too far up, no wall there to protect you.
Talk about it time and time again. You just need to get a little too far on the outside. Just enough to get that right rear up over the lip off the corners, and you're gone. See ya. There's just not enough grip back there as here comes Kendall Tucker. He's going to win the C main. Then it's Carlin Cure, Braden Matson, Eddie Hartley. They're going to make the B main. Rupert was close for making it from the B main or the D main all the way to the B main. Going to wind up 1 spot short.
An unfortunate end for Rupert as well. He was cutting his way through the field. He'll end up in 5th, just 1 position short. Now we head into the B main tonight. This race, the top 8 will advance into the feature race and join the 12 that advanced out of our heats. Jeremy St. Louis, Michael Benoit will share row 1. William Racine, Aiden Berlin share row 2. Austin Semmelman, another world championship driver from Brookfield, Wisconsin, will start to the inside of row 3. Chris Sabeske, he was one of the surprises of the heat, starting to the outside of row 3 in 6th place. Kenny Miller III will start in 7th, Jacob Denny in 8th, Randy Shrivs in 9th, Ryan Timms rounds out your top 10. Rico Robles, another surprise from the heats, will round out the drivers that were eliminated from the heats and competing here in the B main. Then the 4 that advanced from the C main, Kendall Tucker, Carlin Cure, Braden Matson, and Eddie Hartley. 15 drivers will be narrowed down to 8 and will join the 12 transferees from the heats to make up the feature race that we will see later on here tonight. So this race continues on as we get closer and closer to tonight's feature. And Justin Prince, the feature races here are always the ones that everybody wants to see, and they become so exciting when we get a lot of these World Championship drivers in here. But admittedly, 2 World Championship drivers are at the mercy of the B main right now. They have a chance of being eliminated.
Especially Kendall Tucker, who doesn't have the track position, is going to need to essentially stay calm and properly get himself to the hornet's nest when we take the green flag here, because that's always been the tricky thing when it comes to the B mains, is staying clean in that first charge through turns 1 and 2, especially at a track such as this. And Kendall Tucker definitely has the talent to do it. He's shown he can drive at the bottom, he can drive at the top, so he's got that flexibility, especially with the wing adjustments coming into hand in his direction.
Well, here we go. Pace truck pulls into pit lane as we get ready to go racing. Jeremy St. Louis on the pole as we go underway for the B main. 12 laps are set to go as Jeremy St. Louis leads them into the corner. William Racine, Michael Benoit there as well. 3 wide further back as everybody shuffles for position heading into turn 3. Few cars are on the inside. A lot of them electing the outside line as they're 3 wide for 2nd place as they work their way back through 1.
Triple driver shuffling about 3 wide as all the way up inside the top 5 is Kendall Tucker. What a charge for Kendall Tucker so far. 3 wide for position. He's able to clear him by for 4th spot as he clips the grass at the bottom of the racetrack. Still, it's a hornet's nest right behind him. 3, 4 wide. This driver still trying to shuffle. Racine trying to stop his bleeding. He's all the way shuffled to 8th. Gets a bit of contact. It's Rico Robles who's now charged his way through.
Rico Robles has charged his way into the transfer spot. He currently holds that 8th spot. A huge run around the outside. He gets by a solid 3 cars that were running the inside line. Still up there on the outside is Rico Robles, now up into 5th place. What a move from the 3 to work his way up there. Now holding the transfer spot is Braden Madsen. Is everybody trying to find the line that works for him right now? Holding that transfer spot now, it's Chris Sabeske changing corner by corner.
It's the eye of the storm back here. You've got a pack of 6 or 7 cars all fighting for this transfer spot. Makes for some great racing, though, because these guys are all fighting for the same thing. They want to get a seat at the table here in the feature. Problem is that there are only so many seats left, and time is running out. They're already halfway through this main.
Chris Sabeske still holds that transfer spot as he runs the inside. He's going to put 1 car behind him, or at least tried to, but running the outside line, that was Kenny Miller. 1 car goes way off the track along the outside line. That's William Racine. He falls to the back end. We stay racing for the transfer spot. Now it's Kenny Miller the third. Going to hold on to that spot. Braden Madsen trying to run the outside line. A huge run to the inside. 1 car wrecking on the front straightaway. Contact with him. Kendall Tucker, I believe, was the one that went around. He's still running the inside line as it's Benoit, Robles, Tucker, Semmelman, St. Louis, your top 5. Then it's Madsen, Denny, and Miller, and a huge Hornets nest back here for the transfer.
Operation definitely starting to settle in a set, especially for Aiden Berlin, who's trying to find his way to the bottom. Now, oh, big bar, and sends him over all the way out of the ballpark.
That was Chris Sabeske in the 21, all the way over the wall and around into the grass along the corners. We stay green, 2 laps to go here in the heat. It's Benoit leading the way, Rico Robles in second. Kendall Tucker still rolling the inside line like he did through the last main to advance here into the B main. Austin Semmelman now trying to roll the inside line as Tucker moves his way up. It's Jeremy St. Louis, Braden Madsen, Kenny Miller, and now Eddie Hartley, who is side by side with Jacob Denny, trying to take the transfer spot, but running all the way on the inside line, 3 wide for the transfer. Denny takes it as Hartley and Berlin go into the wall in the front straightaway to finish the race. Grabbing 8th was Jacob Denny. He'll take the final transfer spot as we get ready for the feature. What an exciting finish to the B main as the 3-minute warm-up begins. An unbelievable finish there for the transfer, and we now have our 20 cars that will go racing in the feature. We'll grab a short break here on Podium eSports as we go side by side as the drivers get ready for the feature race, but don't go anywhere. More coverage coming up next on Podium eSports. Welcome back to Podium eSports coverage of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. You saw during the commercial, Speed Shop 51 is an iRacing setup shop which offers individual setup packs, coaching, custom designs, and more. Their main goal is to help improve the skill level of all iRacing competitors across the iRacing platform. Speed Shop 51 was established in December 2020 by Clayton Tilley. For more information, you can check out their website at www.speedshop51.com or follow them on Facebook and Instagram today. Well, Jacob Hitz, I can only speak for me, but I think you'll have the same opinion as me. Those were exciting heat races and alphabet mains as we get ready for the feature. But now cautions are introduced. No caution laps count, just the green flag laps. We'll go 35 green flag laps here in the feature. What are you expecting? Because we have all 5 of our World Championship drivers here and a whole host of more drivers making the 20-car grid for this race. This is going to be an exciting one.
Tell you what, I don't do a lot of dirt race watching, dirt race racing. I love this. This is darn fun. I'm having fun it's incredible. These guys are putting on a whale of a show here. This is a great racetrack, especially for these cars. It feels like Talladega at some points when you're 3 and 4 wide getting into the corners, trying to avoid contact, and then when you do make contact, that's when things can get haywire. And we saw a couple of accidents throughout the alphabet soup and everything. It's just a part of racing, and it's going to happen here in the feature as well. You got 35 laps, which isn't a lot of time really, because I mean we saw those 12-lap races fly by. So the anticipation is going to be up for sure. These guys are going to be really antsy here early on to get as many spots as they can.
Well, now it's time to take a look at the starting grid for tonight's feature race. 20 cars will take to the track for 35 laps. Rusty Kruger will start on the pole. Kobe Stidham to his outside. Logan Rumsey, David Hellman round out row 2. Alex Bergeron, Cameron Merriman, a pair of World Championship drivers. They're in 5th and 6th. Vinny Sansoon, Zachary Brilliard round out your top 8. Joey Laducier and Rylan Gray on row 5. Adam Elby, Richie Preston share row 6. Looking down the rest of the field from the top 12. Row 7, Michael Benoit, Rico Robles. Row 8, Kendall Tucker, Austin Sembelman, another pair of World Championship drivers. Jeremy St. Louis, Braden Matson, rounding out your full 20-car field. Kenny Miller and Jacob Denny. It's time to go racing here in the feature, and we always talk about the World of Outlaws, and we have the World of Outlaws car championship series here, and we're racing the World of Outlaws 410 sprint cars here. So I will graciously take a moment to do my best impression of the voice of World of Outlaws, because Podium eSports, you wanted the best, you've got them to abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest thrill on dirt, the iRacing NOS Energy Drink 410 sprint cars. We're getting ready to go racing from the Lernerville Speedway. 35 laps are ready to go for the feature race, and we are ready to go here on Podium eSports. It's time for that iRacing pace truck to pull its way into the pit lane. Rusty Kruger, Kobe Stidham will lead the field to the green flag. Everybody 2 by 2, 10 rows deep. Let's go racing. We're underway from Lernerville.
Well, they made it through the first corner just fine. How about that? But these guys are really going to be flying out of the gate here through 3 and 4. It's all Kruger. Rumsey on the inside. You got Stidham on the high side. They're almost beating him, banging Stidham all the way up right by the top lip of the racetrack. It's going to be Kruger, Rumsey, Stidham, Heilman, Bergeron, rather. Looks to be your top 5 thus far.
Alex Bergeron, Cameron Merriman trying to cut their way through the field. 2 World Championship drivers, but it's 2 World Championship drivers leading up at the front with Kruger and Rumsey.
Caution.
Caution of the night comes out, and a huge pile up further back. Jacob Denny on his side in turn 2.
Yeah, we have, I think, 3 or 4 wrecks at the price of 1. And it looks like it's going to be whoever is in front of him. I think Richie Preston, yeah, he gets turned around, he gets hit off of 1 car, he goes upside down. Jacob Denny is nowhere to go, he piles in. Kenny Miller gets involved here. A couple more here. Jeremy St. Louis, Brandon Matson, they all get collected. It's just 1 car gets sideways and everybody else has nowhere to go but pile right in.
So that brings out the first caution of the night. Here's the replay. And you can see just multiple cars, everybody running so close together. It becomes to a point where one subtle mistake and you are hitting another car or you're getting turned around. And especially here at Lernerville, you don't want to try and correct too much. There's no wall to the outside. You go over that dirt hump and you are gone off the racetrack. There's no coming back. And unfortunately, the night going to end early for Jacob Denny in the 61 as he ended up on his side. So the first caution of the night is out. Now remember, caution laps do not count here in this series. We will be frozen on lap number 3 as we pace behind the iRacing.com pace truck, getting ready to go back to green. As we will take this moment as the lights are on the iRacing pace truck to really quickly give a thank you to one of the many sponsors that help support the Podium eSports coverage of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, including AllStar Visuals, your home for high-quality graphic design and outstanding customer service. If you are looking for a new racing logo or hero cards, look no further. AllStar Visuals has you covered. For more information, visit facebook.com/allstarvisuals today. And we're back underway here in the feature race. Still Rusty Kruger out in front, but now joining the fight, it's Hellman, Stidham, Bergeron, Merriman all trying to take the lead. Running the inside, it's the 41 of Logan Rumsey. Couldn't make it rotate enough to battle for the lead. The 49 of Hellman takes second place, but it's still Rusty Kruger out in front trying to pull away.
And I tell you what, was that Bergeron that was sideways? No, it was Stidham. Up on the high side as there goes Bergeron. He goes off into the stands off of turn 4 almost. He keeps it going, but he's going to lose 5, 6, 7 spots at the same time. So he's going to sink way back outside of 14th. So outside the top 10 for Bergeron. That's going to make this that much harder for him. As now here comes, I believe that's Sansoni on the inside. Vinny Sansoni on the inside in the 80. He's trying to make that inside line work.
Alex Bergeron might be a two-time champion of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car iRacing Series, but he is a 7-time winner in this series. He's going to need a lot of work to do if he wants to make that 8, as David Hillman now leads the way out in front. Logan Rumsey into second as Rusty Kruger lost the lead. Here comes Cameron Merriman looking for his 5th win.
Oh, big crash!
Overall, cars wrecking further back. Caution is out for the 2nd time tonight.
Oh, and that's going to put Madsen involved there late as well. It's Joey Leducer that got wound. He got on top of the wall here on the front straightaway. That's pretty much how this started. He gets squeezed into the outside wall by Adam Elby, and they just... Elby's able to hang on to it. Leducer cannot hang on to it. It just, when the car comes back down the racetrack, he's already sideways and on the gas. He then gets hit by Semmelman, and then he's going to get hit as he's coming to a stop. Actually, he'll get avoided by Kenny Miller, but Miller and Madsen then collide trying to get around the 82 car. So kind of just trying to avoid Leducer, but he winds up being our 2nd caution.
And unfortunately, Jacob, that was just, it looked just to be a reactionary move that went bad for the main car involved, that went off into the grass because they were just trying to avoid the car. Stopped in the middle of the corner, but when there's a car to your outside, even though he was slightly there, that slight contact just threw him right over the turn and into the grass on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, contact pushes these things a lot. You know, it's incredible when these guys hang on to it when they make contact, because these guys get super squirrely when the cars touch. And we're going to keep seeing that the rest of the night. And we didn't see it as much coming up through the alphabet soup or through the heats or anything, where we would see people get pushed off the racetrack. Typically when they would leave the track surface, it'd be because they made a mistake and they got too wide in the corners. As people start avoiding wrecks, they're going to start moving up towards the top of the track to get around it, and then that's when contact's made because everybody's going for the same spot. Green flag!
We are back underway here in the feature. It's Hellman out in front, then Rumsey, Kruger, Merriman, and Stidham, your top 5, as they all race back through turns 3 and 4. We had a track reset, remember, so the track is definitely nowhere near where it was at the end of our heats, but you can still see it is still starting to gloss over, especially on the outside line. It's starting to work its way in as we work our way on to lap number 12 of the night. Rumsey running the inside lines. Actually, that's Cameron Merriman running the inside line. Rumsey stays to the outside in the 41, side by side, back into turn 3. Merriman sends it all the way to the inside. He'll take P2.
Cue the Jaws music. Here comes Cameron Merriman. He's now up to 2nd. He's only half a second back on Heilman for the lead. I don't think that it'll be very long till he's got a shot here at taking the lead. Merriman, I told you, he's going to be angry after losing a shot at making it 5 straight wins, possibly 6 here tonight. He's going to make sure that he gets the flag first here tonight.
Emerson Axum, who broke his 4-race streak last week in Fairbury, is out of this race. He was out in the first E-Main, so that leaves Cameron Merriman with only his World Championship competitors and the rest of the drivers in this field to battle with, and he has his eyes set on David Hellman right now as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Merriman right on the back bumper of the 49 as they work back to turn 3. Merriman sends it in there, still running the outside line, not going all the way to the inside just yet. They're Top two starting to pull away back into turn one. Merriman still running middle to outside, not electing to dive bomb the inside just yet. He's gonna try it up the middle, not gonna be able to make it stick. He's trying to get that gap just a little bit closer. Now he goes for the inside. Will it stick down on the bottom? It won't. Merriman stays in second.
Tell you what, while that was going on, Rusty Kruger got a little too high in turn 4, spun, crashed it. I think he's just parked the car. He's done for the night. We're also now at halfway. So we're halfway through this race. Cameron Merriman, now I think he's kind of hit sort of a wall here. He got within a quarter of a second of Heilman, but he really couldn't get by him on the inside. I think at this point he's thinking, I'm going to have to pass him on the outside, which is going to be difficult because that 49 has been glued to the top of the racetrack pretty much since the drop of the green flag.
Hellman still leads. It's Merriman in second place, and we're taking a look at this battle. And Merriman has been able to close in for little bits at a time. He hasn't been able to complete the pass. Still trying to as they work back to the front straightaway. Closing in on the end of this race. We are now 14 laps to go here in the feature. Hellman trying to grab not only his first win of the season, but I'm making one more check of my notes to make sure that he's looking for his second all-time win in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, but he's looking for his first win of the season. But a caution comes out. I believe Austin Semmelman was involved in this one.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much the only car in this. Going to have to rewind the tape a little bit to see what exactly happened, because he immediately, as soon as the caution came out, left the server. He just gets too high in turn 4, lost it, backed it into the outside wall, and he was too close to the track surface at that point, had nowhere to go. Caution gets thrown, and now this plays in Cameron Merriman's favor because it brings Heilman right to him on the restart.
Taking a look at the replay courtesy of our producer Zach Johnson, and it was just like you said, Jacob, just a little mistake, just got too far up on the outside, and they're trying to run that cushion. They need to get up further to make it be a viable line to get that run off the corner. He just got too far up. Those back tires went off, and he backed it into the wall, brings out the third caution of the night. But that does give us an opportunity to thank Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, Australian iRacing League specializing in dirt events. For more info, visit at Oceanic_dirt_sim_events on Instagram today. And we thank all the sponsors that help put on the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series and our broadcast here on Podium eSports. The next time you can catch the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series 1 week from tonight, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, round 10 from the dirt track at Charlotte. Expected to be a very exciting one. And here's all the upcoming events you can see on Podium eSports in the next coming rounds as we get ready to go back to racing here in the feature. We'll go over the upcoming events in depth when we close out the broadcast here on Podium eSports, because right now we got to get back to green flag action. Is out in front. It's Hellman versus Merriman once more. Merriman sends it up the inside, and the 48 of Cameron Merriman grabs the lead away from David Hellman as they dive back into one.
That was sick. I thought he was going to hit the outside wall off turn 4. He just kept it down there. Now he's going to try and block Heilman going into turn 3. Heilman's going to throw the same slider on it. He's going to make it work because Merriman skirt up turn 4 a little bit. They're both going to be on that high side. Merriman right on the edge on the high side. Not a lot of grip out there, though, and Heilman's going to pull away once again.
Merriman sends it back to the inside, running that middle line. Merriman taps him. Contact between your two leaders, and contact with the wall as well for Merriman. Heilman able to keep the lead. Cameron Merriman in the 48 in second place right now. They head back into turn 3. Now running the inside is David Hellman. He gets a great run. Cameron Merriman falls back to 0.3 seconds. They're now running 1 and 2. Laps continue to run down. We are down to 8 to go here in the feature race. Hellman looking for his first win of the season. Merriman looking to make it 5 this season as they work back to turn 1. Merriman running the inside, so does Heilman, but the caution is back out.
It's gonna be for Braden Matson, I think. Nope, I'm wrong. He was already sitting on pit road. Let me try that again. Let's find out.
I believe it might have been Rico Robles. He fell down the timing tower. Yes, it was. It was Rico Robles in the 3. Same issue that Alex Bergeron had, or Austin Semmelman had, my apologies, where he just got too far up into 3 and 4, Jacob, and back tapped it into the wall. Nothing they can do at that point, and there's more cars tapping the wall going into turn 1. So everybody just trying to maximize their speed, maximize what they can do on this track state. Some of them are just going a little bit too far, flying a little too close to the sun.
I don't know if I really agree with that caution call. I mean, he was stopped, but there was nobody else coming. He got it rolling as soon as he got to that point. I don't know, but I mean, it is what it is. It happens. But I mean, we've talked about it from pretty much from the top of the show, that the top of the track, there's a fine line. It's fast, but you push it too high, and you're going to wind up into the seats. You're going to wind up in the forest outside the racetrack. And we've seen it happen a lot throughout the heats, throughout the mains, and throughout the feature. So I as much as I want to say that, you know, the guys that made it to the feature, they're pretty much going to be spotless. Of course, they're going to make mistakes. I'm just curious if it's going to cause the leaders any chaos up here. They make a mistake like that. Oh, boy.
Well, here we go. Pace truck gonna pull back into the safety of pit lane here at the virtual Lernerville Speedway. 6 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line. It's David Hellman at the helm right now of the lead. He dives it back into turn 1. Cameron Merriman, Logan Rumsey sitting 2nd and 3rd looking for the lead. Merriman has been the main one battling David Hellman all night, and he's looking to continue that as they work their way back through the front straightaway back to turn 1. 5 to go.
And Merriman looked to the inside, just didn't get quite enough of a run at the center of the corner. Heilman got a better run on exit. It looks like Heilman may be able to run away with this one as he slid up a little bit too high. Here comes Merriman. He's going to stay to the top. Heilman to the bottom. I think they're going to be side by side or close to it here off of 2.
Coming to 3 laps to go here at the virtual Lernerville Speedway. David Heilman leads the way. Merriman in 2nd place. Merriman now goes up to the outside. Heilman gets a little bit too low. The huge run on the outside. Cameron Merriman looks for the lead, but a huge dive up the inside from Heilman. Heilman will lead the way, but Merriman with a great run coming off the corner using the high line will take the lead with 2 laps to go. The question is, can he hold on? Heilman in 2nd, Logan Rumsey in 3rd, trying to run the bottom line, take 2nd away. White flag is out. 1 more lap around the virtual Lernerville Speedway. Cameron Merriman running the outside, able to get around and get the lead with 2 to go. Wins his 5th race of the season in the North Sprint Car Championship Series.
Oh, what a big crash. Logan Rumsey upside down. He gets punted right at start-finish line. A vicious crash to end the race, but Cameron Merriman, game, set, match. Done. Wow.
An unbelievable run late there for Cameron Merriman. He won at Weedsport, Williams Grove, Volusia, Limaland, and now he can add Lernerville to his list of wins this season, and he joins his fellow World Championship drivers, Hayden Cardwell, Alex Bergeron, and Tyler Schell, with getting wins this season. An unbelievable race, and Merriman now with 5 wins on the season. There's no points in this series, by the way. They're just going for payout. And Merriman is walking away a winner once more. David Heilman in 2nd place, Logan Rumsey in 3rd, Adam Elby 4th, with Zachary Brouillard rounding out your top 5. Rylan Gray, Kendall Tucker, Michael Benoit, Vinny Sansone, and Kobe Stidham rounds out your top 10. Kenny Miller the 3rd and 11th, Joey Laducier in 12th, Rico Robles 13th, Alex Bergeron 14th, Austin Semmelman round out your top 15, Rusty Kruger in 16th, Braden Matson in 17th, Jeremy St. Louis in 18th, Richie Preston in 19th, with Jacob Zenny unfortunately having an early end to his feature race. He'll finish in 20th. And Jacob, just what an insane race tonight. And I believe we do have our race winner standing by for an interview. And Jacob, it was just an insane race tonight in the feature. It seemed like everybody started to turn up the heat late there, and he was able to get it done. Cameron Merriman, his 5th win of the season, and he's standing by with Jacob.
Well, Cameron, I tell you what, at the top of the show, I said you may be the guy to beat after finishing 5th at Fairbury 2 weeks ago. You're going to be angry after snapping that 4-race win streak, and you were going to come in here and you were going to walk away with a win pretty much no matter what. And you proved me right with a great move with 2 to go. Take us through your climb to the top here at this track.
Yeah, that was excellent. Thanks for the introduction. Sitting in the driver's seat for at least the first, 25 laps, I didn't think that I was going to be able to put myself in a position to necessarily win it because, we got track prep done before the feature race. They did a track reset and we got to run it in. And when that happens, the certainty of what's actually going to happen in terms of the line development in the feature race is a huge unknown. So I didn't certainly know what the quick lines were going to be down the stretch. So from that perspective, it makes it very hard to make decisions on the setup for the car. So, Lernerville is one of these excellent tracks where it's not incredibly setup dependent. It's really, they put, the condition on you as the driver to find the speed and find the line and a way to the front. So David and I were having an awesome scrap at the front, and I was remarking to myself in that last caution, prior to the final restart, that quick line was either going to be some variant of like a crossover and one getting a run down the backstretch and the moisture down into turn 3, or trying to ride that little slip of moisture that was above the middle line and just below the very rim of the track. So I saw David maybe kind of mirroring a move that I made going to the bottom, and as it is in these sprint cars, to pass a guy you got to go where they're not. So I trusted myself, pulled the wing back a bit and sent it up top, at least as far as I could find the moisture, and was able to rip it around David. And at that point, going into turn 3, you're just trying to cover yourself from the slide job. So I was able to do that. And, he had to send it to try and cover up the spot, but I was able to get an excellent drive off turn 4 on, I'm not sure if it was 3 to go or 2 to go, but either way, once I've sealed the pass going into turn 1, all I have to do is just not make a critical mistake, and the race was mine. So, hats off to David. That was one of the most fun racing, experiences I think I've had all season long in this series. So that was phenomenal for sure.
And it was certainly fun to watch. Before we send you on your way, anybody you want to thank, say hi to here?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys up in the booth, and of course Brody for putting this thing on. And it's always fun coming out here on a Wednesday night and getting almost a full server of guys. Very respectful racing. We get stacked up to an E-main, so it's something special to be able to come away with a win. And I got to say that I was more humbled at Fairbury, and I certainly wasn't walking out of there mad. So I was coming in tonight hopeful because I love Lernerville. It's an awesome track without the wall on it. So I'm just happy that we had some awesome, clean, good, solid races. So thanks to you guys and for everyone who supports us putting it on, and Brody in particular. So appreciate the interview, guys.
Cameron Merriman, race winner once again this season. He wins here at Lernerville.
And a great interview with Mr. Cameron Merriman. Now we move down to the driver who led the most laps in the feature race tonight and just was unable to get it done late there. Driver number 49, David Heilman. David, you were the fastest car out there for so long, and then here comes Cameron Merriman fighting his way through the field, and suddenly you see him in your mirror. Take us through that race and how it went from your perspective.
Yeah, we were nervous kind of when we got our car. We were so good so early, and then that kind of lane down was so good in 1 and 2, and I just kept waiting for it to go away. And then on the first restart, I tested the bottom, and then Cam was able to slide me through that, and I was like, okay, well, I think I went back to the middle then, and then I don't know, just never seeing a lane stay around that much, and I was just concerned from how far back you can throw sliders in 3 and 4, so I kind of tried to protect running the bottom and then protect 3 and 4 with the slider, but just ended up goofing up on the bottom. And even when I was running that slider line, I don't know, it's been a while since we've really turned laps at Lernerville. I just didn't feel good on exit. But car was good, yeah, led laps out there, but just focusing on too many other things, I think, than instead of just out there running good laps like a lot of these guys can go do, and just go focus on that. We just think about stupid things like what we're gonna say in interviews and listening to the TV and yell about that.
Well, it was a great effort out there, and you definitely were the star of both the heats and the feature race. And before we let you go here on Podium Esports, anybody else you would like to thank?
Yeah, just thank everybody back at Slick. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/IMD33, housespeed.us. Can run all my setups there. And of course, you guys for putting it on.
Thank you very much, David Heilman, second place finisher in the feature race tonight. And we'll grab an interview with your third place driver, rounding out your podium tonight, Logan Rumsey, standing by with Jacob Hitz.
Certainly, from pretty much the start of the night, we were tossing your name around as a potential favorite to contend for the win, and you did exactly that, coming home in the third spot, Logan. Take us through your night from your vantage point.
Yeah, I qualified pretty good. Qualified third and won the heat race, put me starting third in the feature. I'm usually pretty decent when they reset the track. I kind of fall off when it gets slick, but yeah, I got the second there early, and then Mirman drove around me and David, and I just kind of rolled around in third there, and I started to figure something out in the bottom of 3 and 4 there at the end. And if I would figured out a little bit earlier, I might have been in contention for the win. But third's still good.
And before we send you on your way to celebrate the podium finish here in Lernerville, anybody you want to thank, say hi to?
Yeah, everyone at Slick Sim Sport and Ryko Motorsports and 127 Industries and Blake, or what's his name, for putting up the league, and everyone for broadcasting this.
Well, there you have it. Third place finisher, Logan Rumsey, here at Lernerville. Best of luck, and we'll see you next week at the dirt track at Charlotte.
Thank you.
Third place finisher, Logan Rumsey, here from Lernerville. Josh?
And an exciting night it has been here on Podium Esports, and you can catch all rounds of the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series in spring 2021 here on Podium Esports. Next week, we'll find ourselves at the dirt track at Charlotte, then Kokomo, Lanier Speedway, and then Bristol Motor Speedway. Now, the 410 Classic at Knoxville Raceway is still on, just that it got pushed back to July 27th and 28th. So, make sure that you catch it all here on Podium Esports and all of the upcoming events here on Podium Esports. The NASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series returns with at the Darlington Raceway for round 1, race number 5. You can catch that Thursday, April 22nd at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/Podium Esports. Then the MSRA Premier Series, round 12 at Darlington on Saturday, May 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Podium 2. Then the MPI Cup Series, they begin their playoffs at Chicagoland for round 16, Sunday, May 9th, 9:15 p.m. Eastern on Podium Esports Twitch channel. Monday Night Racing returns for week number 2 of the next season. Pro 2 trucks at Watkins Glen. That's set to be an exciting one with some of the best in NASCAR. Go to Monday night, May 10th, 8 p.m. Eastern time on twitch.tv/Podium 2. Then PCA Sim Racing Series 6 Porsche GT3 Cup at Long Beach, Wednesday, May 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern over on youtube.com/PCA Sim Racing. Then the next round of the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series from the dirt track at Charlotte, Wednesday, May 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Podium Esports YouTube, Podium 2 on Twitch, and the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series Facebook page. Then the next round of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, a first time ever to the Circuit of the Americas. That is set to be an exciting one, and we'll see if anybody can beat Bobby Zelensky on the road courses. Tuesday, May 18th at 8:30 Eastern for Countdown to Green over on twitch.tv/iRacing. Once again, a huge thank you to our 3 sponsors tonight: AllStar Visuals, Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, and Speed Shop 51. And I believe me, Jacob, and our producer, Zach Johnson, are all going to go race the new NASCAR Next Gen car because it is available on iRacing after tonight's Pro Invitational. So make sure you grab that car and go racing. Maybe you'll find me, Jacob, and Zach in a hosted session. But we are sending it off here on Podium Esports for Brody Wilhelm at Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, for Ryan Bauer, James Pike, Cisco Scaramuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, for my colleague in the booth, Jacob Hitz, and Justin Prince, and for tonight's producer, Zach Johnson. My name is Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast. We hope to see you next week from the dirt track at Charlotte.